AZTV xəbər xüsusi buraxılışı ilə efirdədir. Hər vaxtınız xeyir. Bugün Azərbaycan Respublikasının Prezidenti İlham və Somali Federativ Respublikasının Prezidenti Hasan Şeyx Mahmud mətbuata bəyanatlarla çıxış ediblər.
Dear Mr. President, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. President to Azerbaijan. I'm very glad that you accepted my invitation and paying an official visit to our country. This is a historical visit, the first in the history of bilateral relations between our countries. And I'm sure that the visit will open a new page in the close friendship relationship between our countries. Today, during our meeting with the President, we already discussed quite a big number of issues of mutual interest, and we'll continue our discussions today with the participation of members of delegation. The documents which have been signed today clearly demonstrate our mutual will to develop bilateral ties in many areas, and I'm sure that all what has been signed today in Baku will be materialized and will elevate our relations on a higher level. We broadly discussed the geopolitical situation in our regions and the challenges which our countries are facing, and once again reiterated mutual support to territorial integrity and sovereignty of our countries, and also our mutual position on fighting terrorism and extremism. Of course, political stability for every country is a main prerequisite for development, and I informed Mr. President about the difficult times Azerbaijan faced in the 90s and in the beginning of this century until the liberation of our internationally recognized territories from Armenian occupation, and also about our experience in attracting investments and creating the positive business environment in Azerbaijan. Among the areas which we discussed and will continue to discuss, I think one of the most important is the area of education. Today we already have initial achievements in this area. Several students from Somalia are studying in Azerbaijan on the Heydar Aliyev scholarship. And the agreement which was signed today will allow us to increase their number, initially to 10 students, but then to more students. So in our universities, of course, there will be opportunity to get access to the modern educational programs, which will be helpful for economic development of Somalia. We also discussed opportunities of investments in Somalia, and as you know, prior to the visit of Mr. President, the big delegation from Azerbaijan visited Somalia a week ago, which mainly worked on the preparation of the visit and at the same time on how to build strong economic, political, cultural ties in the future. And I think that this process should continue. As a result of the official visit of the President, I think we need to send another team to Somalia with the concrete targets and the goals to identify the areas of investments and also to specify the concrete projects where Azerbaijani investments can be accepted and can be helpful. It's infrastructure, ports infrastructure, agriculture. Mr. President informed me about the vast potential in agriculture. I also informed him about our targets with respect to creating a self-sufficient agriculture in Azerbaijan. So I think we can create a quite a substantial synergy in this area. Defense is one of the important areas of our cooperation. Today, a document was signed, and tomorrow, Mr. President will get acquainted with some elements of Azerbaijani defense capabilities and also defense industry. Today, during the meeting with delegations, we will definitely discuss the opportunities. Azerbaijan have elaborated a strong defense industry potential, manufacturing many of the defense equipment which we need for ourselves, and also becoming an important exporter to a dozen of countries with modern defense equipment. And also training, because the Second Karabakh War and then anti-terror operation demonstrated the high professionalism of our military servicemen, who in the very difficult geographic landscape managed to liberate our territory, which was under occupation for almost 30 years, with 6 or 7 lines of defense, with different defense engineering infrastructure, and within a limited time frame, is to fully restore sovereignty and territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. So tomorrow there will be also a presentation of our special forces performance to Mr. President. So I think defense cooperation, training, and also potentially joint manufacturing of defense equipment and supply of defense equipment from Azerbaijan to Somalia, I think should be one of the important areas of our cooperation. And also I'd like to underline the importance of cooperation in the area of public services. One of the agreements which was signed today actually covers this area. The system which already successfully functions in Azerbaijan, ASAN public services system, received many international awards, and the most important award is the award of appreciation of Azerbaijani people, because the rate of approval of ASAN services in Azerbaijan is close to 100%. So this really demonstrates that this is a service to people which makes life of people easier. And I know that in the President's program, there is also a visit to one of the centers. And if you decide and if you like it, we can establish a similar system in your country. And of course, important part of our partnership is mutual support in international institutions. I know that our foreign ministers met on many occasions and discussed this issue. Definitely we will continue to support each other in United Nations, in Islamic Cooperation Organization, in other international institutions, because this is very important for both countries, so that we have, partners and friends whom we can rely on. Once again, Mr. President, welcome to Azerbaijan. Wish you a pleasant stay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is really a great honor for me to visit Azerbaijan for the first time in the history of our relationship. Become the first president who visited Azerbaijan, sitting president, I mean. I'm very much feel honored. It's both honor and privilege to be here in Baku, the capital of the brotherly nation of Azerbaijan, to engage in a meaningful discussion with my esteemed brother and friend, President Ilham Aliyev. I extend my gratitude to His Excellency for the warm welcome and hospitality accorded to me and to my delegation. Our meeting today has been a highly productive and marks the beginning of a new era in Somalia-Azerbaijan relationship. This visit is not just a diplomatic engagement. Indeed, it is the beginning of a meaningful and strategic alliance and partnership between our two brotherly countries. Somalia and Azerbaijan share a common vision for development, security, and prosperity, and today we have reaffirmed our commitment to deepening closer cooperation across key actors. I would also like to commend the Azerbaijani people for protecting their sovereignty and territorial integrity. We have a lot of similarities in the last 3 decades, particularly in the era of 1990s, when Azerbaijan has faced some difficulties and Somalia went through that difficulties. Fortunately, alhamdulillah, Azerbaijani people has succeeded to overcome and prevail as a stable and prosperous country in this part of the world. So we would like to our Azerbaijan to share that experience that you went through, and we are to learn from your practical experience. All the collaborations that has been mentioned by you, Mr. President, is very useful to Somalia, to both of us, and in particular to Somalia. Somalia is a country in transition from difficult era to a very bright future. Somalia is a rich and resourceful country, but circumstances has not given the opportunity to prosper. With good partners like Azerbaijan, I believe that our country and the potentiality of our country will be very visible and predictable. Predictable politics and predictable policies of development is another key area that we can learn from Azerbaijan. The agreements that we signed today provide a structured framework to harness Azerbaijan's expertise while opening new opportunities for our two nations and people. Beyond these agreements, our engagement today lays the foundation for a robust economic and diplomatic relationship between our two countries. Somalia values Azerbaijan's leadership in energy, infrastructure, security, education areas where we can greatly benefit from the knowledge sharing and investment partnership from Azerbaijan. Similarly, Azerbaijan can look to Somalia as a gateway to Africa's growing markets, particularly in trade and logistics. The strategic location of Somalia in the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea is a valuable strategic area where economic benefits can be shared and explored both our countries. Mr. President, today is just the beginning. Somalia and Azerbaijan share more than a vision for economic growth and security. We share the spirit of resilience, determination, and ambition to shape a better future for our people. Your Excellency, Mr. President, I look forward to strengthening our ties further through exchange of delegation, through exchange of groups that will come. Somali technical groups are ready to visit again and again here in Azerbaijan and present to Azerbaijan, the government of Azerbaijan, the private sector of Azerbaijan for the opportunities that is existing and emerging in Somalia. Once again, Mr. President, I thank you and I thank the government of Azerbaijan for your warm hospitality and vision for a stronger, more determined future between our two nations. We hope to welcome you sometimes in the future in Somalia to visit, inshallah. And I thank you very much, Mr. President.
Belə, AZTV xəbərin xüsusi buraxılışını izlədiniz. Hələlik.